We're gonna talk about the pillars that drive alignment. And the first pillar is the idea that belief is transferable. Now, I'm gonna share with you where this came from. I had an epiphany. I legitimately had an epiphany. And I'll tell you when it happened. I was on the front porch in my home on a Sunday, the first Sunday of August, about 10 years ago. I know that because we had just got done at Tundraland sponsoring a music festival. And in the music festival, instead of setting up normal shower displays, we put up our singing in the shower display where we'd put music instruments and microphones and speakers, and we'd ask people to come on by and sing in our shower. And once we got to 250 people singing in our shower, we would send a kid to music school for a year. And it was a really cool thing. We did it every year. It was really fun. The community loved it. News media covered it. So my wife and I, we hit our target. We got 250 people. We're picking out our kid to send to music school. And here's my epiphany. Are you ready for it? I realized that when the community is in a better place, I'm actually in a better place. I feel better when the community is better. And what my epiphany was, the same is true in business, by the way. When the business is doing great, I feel better. When the business is not doing great, you know how that goes. My epiphany was that for the business to reach its potential, the people inside the business had to first reach theirs. In fact, the business cannot reach its potential unless and until the team reaches theirs. But for them to reach their potential, they first have to become aware of their potential. And that, my friends, brings us to the first pillar, that belief is transferable. You have an opportunity to raise the lid of the people on your team. And often what it takes is somebody else to truly believe in them, because people don't necessarily know they're capable of doing what you aspire them to accomplish. And the more you can raise their lid, the more the lid of your business actually raises. So I go into deep detail in it in Beyond the Hammer. The second pillar is the idea that leaders shape culture through purpose and direction, okay? I mean, if we're gonna align a business, then we need to know, and I use the analogy, by the way, and you maybe have heard this before, that in Wisconsin, half the year, Harley Davidson is like, you gotta love the Packers and you've gotta ride a Harley Davidson. That's kind of the thing. So, I like to, I like to get on my Harley Davidson and go for a ride, and it might be up some country road by myself, and if I don't like the road, I'm gonna turn around and go back down another road. I might pull over and smoke a cigar if I feel like it, whatever I wanna do. And that's fine if it's just me. But imagine if I had 20 motorcycles following me, and like, what the frick is Brian doing? We're going halfway, we're smoking a cigar? I don't smoke cigars. I would drive people crazy. People need to know where they're going if they're gonna follow. A business needs to provide that as well. It's one thing to hire somebody, but where is your organization going? Why do we exist? Where are we trying to get to? These are all the things that shape culture. And I'll share with you that when you think about culture for a moment, think of it as a shared set of thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors inside of your organization. And by the way, every business has a culture, okay? The one thing to know about culture, I promise you this, is that your culture is shaped by the lowest level of acceptable behavior. The person that's disruptive, the person you don't want to deal with, the person that might be a revenue producer, but you don't want to hear what they're saying to the customer, all of those things shape the culture of your organization. So you really want to align the business, you want to shape the culture through purpose and direction. And what I mean by that is when you think of purpose, it's why do we exist? The mission statement of my businesses, of each business I owned, very simply put, was to do well and do good. And we defined it that it meant to make a decent profit decently. That's why we exist. We exist to make a decent profit decently. That's our mission. And the direction is, where is the organization going and how do we win? And when you think about where your business is going, you want to think 3, 4, 5 years from now, what do you aspire to become? By documenting that with your team and figuring out how do we win in order to get there. Now when people show up in your business, now they know the behaviors that are necessary in order to accomplish a greater aspirational goal. You're now aligning your team around the future and letting them know what their role is in helping the business get there.